If you could pick a superpower, what would it be? Maybe you'd want to fly like Superman, climb walls like Spider-Man, or even breathe underwater like Aquaman. But that's just pure fiction, right? Or is it possible to have superpowers in real life? Well, the short answer is yes. From a real-life Spider-Man to a human lightning rod, these are the 15 people with real superpowers. Number 15. The real-life Wolverine. Rusty Haight has lived through more car crashes than most people could even imagine. We mean nearly 1,000 in total. Known as a human crash test dummy, Haight volunteers his body to science, helping researchers study the physics of impact and improve vehicle safety. Each collision is carefully recorded with sensors and cameras, capturing how his body reacts to forces that would leave an ordinary person broken. Somehow, Haight walks away from crashes that should, by all logic, cause pretty serious harm. Instead of stopping, he continues climbing back behind the wheel, risking his body again and again in the name of safety research. His work has also made him an instructor, teaching law enforcement and engineers how to reconstruct accidents with accuracy. While comic book Wolverine heals instantly, Haight's resilience comes not from mutation, but from sheer toughness and commitment. His endurance proves that pushing survival to its limits can sometimes rewrite what we think possible. Number 14. The real-life Deadpool. Well, Dan Meyer may not have Deadpool's healing factor or that freaky charm, but he lives a life constantly brushing against death. A master sword swallower, Meyer spent years training his body to perform one of the most dangerous acts in human history. Suppressing the gag reflex, fighting through pain, and carefully guiding blades into his stomach took years of practice. 10 to 12 attempts a day for 4 years, with over 13,000 failed tries before his first success. Sword swallowing is no illusion. It has claimed the lives of 29 people in the last 150 years, yet Meyer continues pushing boundaries. He holds multiple world records and has even performed underwater, risking his life in unimaginable ways. Every performance requires total precision, since a single mistake could prove fatal. Though he doesn't regenerate like Deadpool, Meyer's persistence and defiance of danger make him the closest real-world version of the character, an ordinary man performing superhuman feats with nothing but determination. Number 13. The real-life cyborg. Anastasia Sin carries more technology inside her than most people have in their homes. With over 50 implants throughout her body, she lives as a walking experiment in human-machine integration. Her left hand vibrates whenever it detects nearby electricity. Magnets embedded in her ears allow her to sense sound differently, while chips in her hands let her unlock doors and control devices with a simple wave. Some of the implants she inserted herself, while others were done by underground surgeons. At one point, she even had a computer built into her leg that strangers could log into until it overheated and had to be removed. Not every procedure has gone smoothly. Some implants have broken, failed, and rattled inside her body. She can't undergo MRI scans and constantly monitors for possible toxic degradation. Yet despite the complications, she has no regrets. For Anastasia, the risks are worth the thrill of transforming herself into something beyond human. She is preparing for the future, where humanoids rule. Number 12. The real-life Electro. Raj Mohan Nair doesn't just shrug off electric shocks, he embraces them. Nicknamed Electricity Mohan, he can power household appliances with nothing but his bare hands. While a current as small as 1/10 of an amp is enough to stop the average human heart, Mohan can endure several amps flowing directly through his body and still survive without lasting harm. His physiology makes him nearly 10 times more resistant to electricity than most people. When the current surges, he temporarily loses his vision, yet he can still hold a light bulb and make it glow instantly. What would leave anyone else lifeless becomes a party trick in his hands. Scientists remain puzzled by how his body channels such dangerous voltage, but Mohan continues to prove himself a living anomaly. For him, high voltage isn't a hazard. It's something he treats as casually as a morning ritual, leaving the rest of us stunned at his unshakable defiance of nature. Number 11. The real-life Supergirl. Natasha Demkina first realized her strange gift at just 10 years old. One morning, she looked at her mother and claimed she could see her organs in remarkable detail. Soon after, word spread and people began lining up outside her home, hoping for a diagnosis. Natasha insisted she could look at a person and view bones, tissues, and internal organs as though she possessed X-ray vision. Researchers worldwide tested her, with some calling her results proof of an extraordinary gift, while others dismissed them as a coincidence. Regardless of the debate, Natasha herself has never wavered, continuing to say her abilities are genuine. What began as a childhood revelation grew into a phenomenon that drew attention far beyond her small town. Whether medical intuition or a power science can't explain, her story remains one of the most amazing examples of human ability. Natasha may not wear a cape, but she carries a power no one expected. Number 10. The real-life Silver Banshee. At 39, Justine Mitchell developed a superhuman ability she never asked for, hearing so sharp it turned every sound into agony. She could hear her eyeballs move inside their sockets, her own heartbeat roaring like a drum, and even the faint hiss of a coffee machine made her dizzy. Her own voice became unbearable. Doctors diagnosed her with a rare auditory disorder and offered only two extreme solutions. The first was the open skull surgery, and the second was sealing her ear canal with muscle tissue. Choosing the latter, she finally found relief, though it meant sacrificing part of her natural hearing. The ordeal revealed just how overwhelming human senses can become when heightened beyond control. While comics portray sound-based powers as destructive weapons, Mitchell's experience showed the terrifying side of such abilities. For her, silence was salvation. What might sound like a gift in fiction was in reality a curse, one that transformed her life into a constant battle with noise. All right, now, let's move to Number 9. The real-life Nightwing. Eskil Renningsbakken has built his life on stunts that defy death itself. Known for his amazingly unparalleled balance and control, he has cycled backward down steep mountain roads, performed handstands beneath a flying hot air balloon, and walked tightropes over canyons with nothing but air beneath him. Each act requires flawless concentration, where even the smallest mistake could mean disaster. For Renningsbakken, these challenges aren't about recklessness, but precision, trust in skill, and respect for fear. He's often compared to DC's Nightwing, not because of gadgets or costumes, but because of his fearless mastery of movement in dangerous settings. Despite risking his life repeatedly, he admits that fear is always present. To him, fear isn't an enemy but a guide, and he insists that if the fear ever disappears, he will stop performing altogether. His daring feats continue to inspire and terrify, showing what happens when balance and courage are pushed to their absolute limits. But do not try any stunt at home. Number 8. The real-life Deadshot. Bob Munden may no longer be alive, but his speed and accuracy remain legendary. Known as one of the fastest gunslingers in recorded history, he could draw, fire, and hit a target in just 0.2 seconds, faster than most people could even react. His precision was equally astonishing. Munden could split a playing card edge-on, shoot aspirin tablets tossed into the air, and outdraw opponents before they had a chance to move. Over his career, he set more than 18 world records, his reputation cemented as the closest real-life version of Deadshot. Beyond competitions, he performed exhibitions worldwide, leaving audiences stunned at how a revolver in his hands seemed like an extension of his body. His skills weren't the product of trick shots or gimmicks. They were the result of relentless training and an instinct for timing that bordered on superhuman. If he ever squared off against his own reflection, the mirror itself wouldn't stand a chance. Number 7. The real-life Aquaman. While most of us can barely hold our breath for a minute, Herbert Nietzsche has taken it to superhuman extremes. Known as the deepest man on Earth, Nietzsche has held his breath for over 9 minutes and plunged to record-breaking depths that no one else has reached. His most astonishing achievement came in 2012, when he descended to an unimaginable 253.2 meters on a single breath. The dive left him with severe decompression sickness, but he miraculously survived, recovering through relentless rehabilitation. Nietzsche holds more than 30 world records in freediving, a sport where lung capacity, mental control, and absolute focus determine survival. His dives aren't just about holding air. They demand mastering pressure, oxygen, and the mind's instinct to panic. Though Aquaman breathes underwater through fantasy, Nietzsche's real-life abilities make him one of the most remarkable athletes alive. His discipline and endurance prove that even the ocean's depths cannot stop human determination. Number 6. The real-life Hyperion. In Finland, sauna competitions once pushed endurance to extremes. The rules were simple. Contestants sat in a 110°C sauna and endured for as long as possible. That's hotter than boiling water, and yet Timo Kaukonen turned it into his arena. In 2009, he lasted 4 minutes, long after most competitors collapsed. The following year, he returned to defend his title but paid a brutal price. Pushing his limits further, he suffered severe burns, while his rival tragically didn't survive. The contest was immediately shut down forever. For years, Kaukonen's stamina placed him at the top of a sport that few could even attempt. Endurance in extreme heat is not simply physical. It demands control over mind, body, and willpower. While the event is gone, his feats remain a testament to human toughness pushed to terrifying extremes. His story proves that survival isn't always about strength. It's about enduring what should never be endured. Number 5. The real-life cipher. Scott Flansburgh has been called the human calculator, and with good reason. He can add, multiply, and divide enormous numbers in his head instantly, without the tricks or shortcuts used by memory experts. For him, numbers flow as naturally as words, a connection that has earned him world records and recognition around the globe. Instead of keeping this ability to himself, Flansburgh travels widely, teaching others to unlock their mathematical potential. He's written books, led workshops, and partnered with schools to help students discover new ways of approaching math. His talent is so profound that even watching him solve problems feels unreal, as if he's pulling answers from nowhere. To Flansburgh, it's simply the way his mind works. While superheroes manipulate code or machines, his superpower is numbers, pure, precise, and limitless. For those who struggle with math, Flansburgh is living proof that the brain itself can be the most powerful tool of all. It simply means the more you use it, the more good it becomes. Number 4. The real-life thing. John Ferraro has a skull unlike anyone else, measuring an extraordinary 16 millimeters thick, more than double the human average. His head has become his weapon, and his career is built around it. Ferraro has smashed through concrete blocks, driven nails into wood with headbutts, and even endured a jackhammer pounding directly against his skull without serious injury. Doctors examining his bone density confirmed what audiences already knew. His head is practically indestructible. He holds records for demolishing obstacles with nothing but raw force, astonishing spectators every time he steps up to perform. Far from a trick, his feats are made possible by an anatomy that gives him resilience no one else possesses. While comic fans think of the Thing as a rock-skinned hero, Ferraro's real-life power lies in his unbreakable skull. For him, destruction is a performance, and each act proves his body is built like living stone. Number 3. The real-life Hulk. Dennis Rogers doesn't look like one of the strongest men alive. Standing just 5 feet 6 inches and weighing 168 pounds, his appearance is deceptively ordinary. But his strength is anything but. Rogers has stopped airplanes from taking off, held back 4 Harley-Davidson motorcycles at once, and bent steel wrenches with his bare hands. His ability comes not from size, but from mastery of plyometrics, a technique that allows him to bypass the body's natural strength limits and access power most people never touch. It's mind over muscle, and Rogers has perfected it. Over the years, he has broken chains, twisted metal, and stunned audiences with feats that seem physically impossible. Though he doesn't turn green or roar like the Hulk, his raw power places him in a category of his own. For Dennis Rogers, strength is not about bulk. It's about 100% control, precision, and pushing human potential to levels few have ever reached. Number 2. The real-life poison Ivy. Tim Frieda has turned his body into a laboratory for venom. Over the years, he has deliberately taken bites from some of the deadliest snakes alive, cobras, vipers, and mambas, more than 200 times. His goal was to build immunity through controlled exposure, a dangerous practice that has left him closer to death than most people could imagine. Once, he was bitten by 2 cobras within an hour, his body shutting down as he flatlined and spent 4 days in a coma. Despite the risks, Frieda has continued, driven by a mission to help science develop new treatments for snakebite victims worldwide. His work has impressed some researchers while alarming others, but his results cannot be ignored. Unlike poison ivy, his power isn't control over plants, but a body hardened against toxins that should be lethal. Whether viewed as reckless or heroic, Frieda's determination makes him one of the most daring figures alive today. Number 1. The real-life Professor X. Daniel Tammet's brain works in ways that defy ordinary logic. He can recall pi to 22,514 digits, learn an entirely new language in just a week, and process numerical information in a way that seems telepathic. Unlike memory champions who rely on deliberate strategies, Tammet experiences numbers as vibrant colors, shapes, and textures, a phenomenon known as synesthesia. This allows him to instantly recognize patterns and solve problems with staggering speed. His gift, however, comes with its own difficulties. While numbers flow naturally for him, daily life isn't always as simple. Emotions, abstract concepts, and social interactions can be overwhelming, leaving him feeling out of place in everyday situations. Even something as ordinary as ordering a taxi can become confusing. Yet despite these obstacles, his rare cognitive abilities have fascinated researchers and captivated audiences worldwide. He might not read minds like Professor X, but Tammet's extraordinary mental powers set him apart as something truly unique. What do you think about these special people? Did they inspire you? Well, let us know. And with this, that's it for today. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like it, share it, and subscribe. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you soon.